All right, we're off in the car again onto another freebie. We are going to the Abbey, Arbroath Abbey, to do the scaffolding tour.
Yeah.
So I filmed us doing the Abbey a couple weeks back, didn't I? So now we're going to do the going up inside the Abbey. So
Yeah.
Peter sounds really excited. Yeah. Anyways, we're on our way. Bye.
Okay, sorry, my name's Jason, I'm the works manager here, and this is Lewis, he's one of our masons here. So what we're going to do is we'll tell you a little bit about this horrendous roof and the problems that we're facing right now. It's covered with Carmiley slate, which is now basically a redundant roofing material. Very hard to get hold of any kind of good quality Carmiley slate now. It's also very hard to get hold of a roofer that's wanting to deal with it. A lot of roofers nowadays, especially ones below the age of 50, they don't know how to work with this stuff. All nowadays, it's uniform roofs, the one, everything's a set size, everything's ready to go. Whereas you can see here, there's nothing square, there's nothing straight. I mean, obviously the years have taken its toll on the roof, but that's where a lot of roofers are struggling with how to deal with it. They want nice and flat, they want Oyer slates or tiles the same size. We don't have that. It's a really good material for waterproofing, but as it gets older it becomes brittle, and what happens is, because of the size of them, there's a lot of weight, and it's only one wooden peg that holds each slate on. Like a paving, it's all around the world, this stuff, Carmiley slate. Like paving slabs, like they're this thick, you know. So compressive strength, absolutely fantastic. As a roofing material, waterproof, absolutely. Longevity, not so great. The problem that the roofers face, once we can pin one down, they have to strip this roof, they have to inspect each slate to see if it's worthy of going back on. And if it's not going to go back on, we've then got to try and source new slates from a stock that doesn't really exist. So the other possible solution they're looking at is either Welsh slate or Scotch slate. That's Scotch slate over there. Scotch slate is usually a blue-grey colour. You'll see what looks like rusty slates. They have iron deposit in them. So that's how you get that rusting on them. Again, the reason that they might look at doing this is because you're talking about half the weight of this.
Oh, okay.
So you instantly favour the building by removing half of the weight. However, that's a discussion that's going to be held way above my head. Lucy, you want to lead that way?
Yeah.
as we make our way up on the scaffolding here, you can see we're going to be coming into a view of Arbroath town. There's beautiful panoramic views that stretch across the town there. I can't believe it, you know. Just was so lucky that I got to be part of this, because don't know how long they're going to be doing these tours, but yeah, let's take advantage of it.
The other things that we're going to be doing up here is we have to replace this core step, this stone here. Now, any work we do, we've got to get SMC, Scheduled Monument Consent, which means it has to come from a board of directors who have said, yeah, we okay that work to be done. They've okayed this to be removed, but not this. So we have to remove this without touching this, because this comes into the wall. So this is going to have to be supported, and this comes out to be replaced. This is getting replaced because you can see it's been built wrong. It's been built on the cant, so that means rather than all the beds running this way, it's up that way. So it's basically opening like a book on its edge, and it's eventually, it has been repaired in the past, but it's got to the stage now that it's ready to give out. So we've got to get that one out and replace that without hurting this one here. This is an example of how far they're willing to keep an original piece. Like, I mean, look at the state of this stone, how far it's worn back. As far as we're concerned, this thing still does its job. We don't need to replace it. It's had work done on it in the past. You can see that where the stone's broke, they've repointed it, but they've shaped the pointing in. So if any water comes in when it rains, it can't sit. So it will run back out of there. Yep. So they know that it's okay. So.
This leaded panel here as well. This was replaced about 6 months ago due to vandalism. So some kids managed to get up on the scaffold and kick it right through. So it was a £1,200 job just for that. So
yeah, the difference is, it's like, it looks like it has a wooden frame, but it doesn't. Those bits of wood are actually just inserts that hold it into the opening. The entire panel is just a leaded panel. All the astracals are lead, everything's lead. It's a single pane, single panes of glass. What they've done was they just come up and they've kicked it. And what happens is, because the lead's older, it gets brittle, and you can't reshape it anyway once they've burst it. And yeah, it's a whole new window just for that. And that was £1,200 just for that.
So what Jason and Lewis were explaining, the mindless vandalism that happens on these sites, and you know, it's just sad that I just can't fathom why somebody would want to do that. But you know, it's what it is. They just don't appreciate it, or you know, they need the education. I think mostly it's just us need to respect our history and cherish it, because we're so lucky to have this in the world.
Yeah, as I was saying, there's not really much to see on this bit here, but this is just to show you why we don't use cast iron anymore, or iron. Like, you can see that there's been a gutter put in here at one time, or brackets for a gutter, and then they decided, no, we're going to take them out. They leave the pins in, they rust, and it splits the stone. So that, and to be honest, you didn't really ever need a gutter on this roof. You see that the roof overlaps the stone anyway, so it's got a natural run for the water. The water's going to course off about here anyway, and even if it was just trickling down and it's got a crawl back, it's never going to get past this bottom slate. It'll never, and once it gets to here, That's what this moulding's for. It's a drip course. It's to stop the water running right down the building anyway. Blocked off. There's not really much on this face that we're going to be doing, but we are going to be working around the corner here. Right, all these windowsills, they've all got an X on them. They're marked for coming out, but it's not just a case of take it out, put it back in, because this sill is it's a full sill, so it actually goes right into the building. So the sill on the outside is actually the sill on the inside as well. They're not looking to replace the one on the inside because obviously it's not got any kind of weather damage on it. So what we've got to do, and when I say we, I mean I'll watch him do it, is we've got to cut this from here to here has to come out, but also from here to halfway through the window frame, only halfway, because if we go any further we've then breached into the inside, which allows water to get in, or a chance for water to get into the inside. So what we've got to do is this lead will be lifted. We'll show you at the end. Actually, this lead gets lifted up. You've got your wooden window keeper. So we've got and it's only about that thick. So we've got to cut about halfway, the stone halfway underneath that, get it out. Then they've got to cut a new one and get it back in. Make it secure, but yeah, we aim to do at least. We would aim to do it in a day.
No, that's really helpful because it's not my area of expertise. I don't know if you'd hammer away for a week.
Oh,
to
you
get
might
it
do.
out,
You
so.
might do in fairness, you know. To see how it goes. But
Yeah.
They want to do minimal amounts of invasive work on a building. Well, you can see there that it's quite badly worn away. Well, rather than replacing all of this, we're going to be cutting this section back, and then we're going to put what we call a soldier, a tall piece of stone, and we're going to set it into here just to take up that. It's because if you look at how bad it is, we're going to bring that back out to the flush, which allows us to protect this window frame more as well, and then we'll be able to get a line of this mastic all the way down. You can see there, look, the mastic, it's got soft. It should always be soft, but it should always be sort of malleable. You should always be able to mould it. But what happens is, we found out is that the wood is pulling the linseed oil out of the mastic, so it's making it lose its elasticity. And the linseed oil is also what helps it be waterproof. So, and what we found as well is like they use newspaper up here, because this here that goes up, it's just a void mastic, but again the newspaper draws the oil out of the mastic. So we've got to look at a different way to redo this. So they say that this one's bad, yet they say that one's okay. It's again it comes down to almost the personal preference of the architect.
that's the foundation as well on the front.
Yeah, these here, this is where the applied conservation will be back to use their potions and lotions. They found that the mullion itself the transom itself isn't too bad, but it is starting to separate. But they believe that if they clean this out, they could save that. So that saves any kind of messing with the building, and yeah, it saves us a few sleepless nights as well. Because if you look at this one, this is one complete one. So you would have to. That means this entire section of window has to be supported. When this comes out, this will have to come out as well. So again, that's a huge amount of work. We'll head down to the next one, where the fun begins. Good luck to you. I started at 16, I'm 51 now. So.
Never. It's good for 51.
Yeah.
I thought it was in these 40s.
Yeah.
this is probably one of the better example of a compromise. We wanted to replace this because you can see the state of it, right? It's gone. But the architect was like, because it's original. So our suggestion was, what if we cut it back halfway and then we put a new face on it, which keeps your original fabric part of the building on the internal, but then it allows for a better ceiling of the building, and that's what we're going to be doing. So we've got to figure out how we're going to deal with cutting this back, but then fixing a new one onto it. It's a different story than what we're saying about the cells, because the cells will have somewhere to lock into, whereas this is going to be sitting. So we've got to figure out a way to fix the new piece of stone to the old one without them being unhappy about it. It's like Lewis was saying, it's like you've got this bit here. So there's obviously been something else. This was checked for something.
You've got like a keystone.
You've got a relieving arch. So again, that's more than likely. They used to be sort of telltales of windows. But you'll probably find that, I mean, these windows here might not have been the originals to that when the Abbots were here. You know, again, Victorians liked everything to look square and nice and, angular. But you can see there as well, like the rough racking, there's been something tied into that part on the corner. So again, everything's just a guess, you know. This bit here's a bit more interesting, for us, because you can see that the crack that's in this lintel is in that transom. It's further down. It also extends right to the top, so it cracks. The crack goes up the way. This has to be removed and replaced. This has to be removed and replaced. But when these are out, we've got to bracket the building. We've got to bracket the two parts of the building together. So we're waiting on a specification from the engineer. He'll design the bracket that holds this to this. Normally they would make like an L bracket, but the way that this is moving, I don't think you'll get away with just the L bracket, because it'll fit here, but this piece will want to come away from the bracket, so they'll have to do a dog leg and probably return it into the wall on both sides. But yeah, that's up to him. He'll decide size of it, tensile strength, material to be made of, and where it's going. And there's been multiple theories about it. The gardener came up with one which I think holds truer than any other theory, and it's that right behind you, it's that tree. What that tree's doing is it's pulling all the water out of the ground. So what's happening is it pulls the water out of the ground, the soil shrinks, it'll then want to compact, the building's going to compact it, and then the building's going to want to move away, because if you look, the crack widens as it goes down, so it looks like the building's wanting to pull that way. And then the root system of a tree typically is 1.5 times the size of the canopy, so however far out the branches reach, it's another half of that is where the roots could reach. They're definitely touching this building. I'm not saying they're getting into the building, but they'll be coursing round it. And what they're doing is they're putting out their little feeler roots that'll be getting into the pointing and stuff like that. It'll be breaking it up from underneath. Here, you'll see how right down there, see the stones that stick out? That's the original building.
Yeah, it's hideous, isn't it?
That's the original building line. Now this is what we were talking about with...
Actually, no, I liked it the way before.
Scuff it off. Yeah. So, I mean, I know like what we've shown you is a very quick sort of what we're doing, but a lot of these jobs do take time. Like even once we get the go ahead and we're like, we know that's coming out, you come out and you go, what do we do? You know, like it's not just a case of right, take that out, take this out. It's you've got to be methodical about it, because you're trying to preserve the nation's built heritage. You know, I think that's about it.
All right, before my camera dies, I just want to thank Jason and Lewis for taking us around on the scaffolding, and appreciate what they do to restore our national treasures, all those women and men who train to do these things. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm quite proud of these people. And I just want to say again, thank you for the time showing us around and explaining the techniques and how you sort these issues that these older buildings have. Thank you.
That stuff just baked and cracked. I mean, it's pure white, that stuff. It should not go that colour. But that's what they wanted. They wanted it just done. You see the weeds? We shouldn't have any of that, because we weren't allowed to take our time for it to cure through the right amount of time, which would then make it a lot harder and make it stronger.
They need a scaffold both sides so you can get access to both sides to do the job properly.
This whole section was closed. Like, so, I mean, technically, you weren't allowed to go through that gate. So that means any visitor that came could stand here and go, oh, that's great, and then leave. That was it. So there's a piece of moulding up there that they've still not decided what they're going to do. So yeah, we've got that safety net around it just now. So it falls off, the net catches it. Looks brilliant, doesn't it?
Very natural.
But yeah, well, do you know what? They came up with, why don't we get the same stuff as at golf courses? What, bright green? Or orange? I mean, it is basically, it is a strong net. I mean, it is like the stuff that's around golf courses, even baseball cages, cricket cages.
Found that absolutely fascinating. I did. So we just finished the tour.
Yep.
And actually it was really good. Yeah, it was amazing how much restoration is going on with this, and the type of techniques and stuff they're using with it.
Yeah, they reckon it's going to be at least another year, though, isn't it, before it all comes down.
Yeah, so
well worth it, though.
well worth it. It was well worth it. It's right on a doorstep, right by Seton Estate, right down the lane.
That's a unique tour, though. You know.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're all booked out now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh.
What they were saying, all the tours are booked.
See how fast it goes?
There's only like five tours over the next couple of months, and then that's it. It's done.
But yeah, so we'll put this together. We'll put it up there for you. All right. Bye. Now sit back and enjoy Arbroath Abbey from the sky. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel so that we can bring you more content in the future. It also helps us to make the channel grow. And once again, thank you so much for watching.